Okay, I think we're on. I shall just hang out here for a while. Wednesday evening, stuff all to do. Right, let's see if we can work out. Aha, that's how you do it. Sham, can we get Monica on, please? Coming, not tonight though. That'll be sometime in the future. What have we got? Oh, I see. I'm still trying to work out this stream. I actually went to StreamYard. Anyway, hello everybody. I went to StreamYard yesterday, the actual software, and tried to work it out because last week I was using the YouTube Studio and it just, like, near the end, I mean, I was going to call it a night anyway, another 20, 30 minutes, but it just took a shit on me. It just, the audio video just cut out. I had a black screen. It took me a further 15 minutes to work out how to even end the stream. It was still running, but just a black screen. So I shan't be using YouTube's own studio again. I've come back to StreamYard and I'm getting it worked out. I'm just going to wait for a few people to come on. But Sean Oliver, good evening to you as well. I've got a right comment. Man says hello to everyone for 2 hours. Calls it a night. That's right. You know, if you put your own live stream on, you can do that yourself. But I shall try to answer anybody's questions if I can get through the comments. Where are we? You see, I've finally worked out how to get people's messages on the screen now. You just click on them. It was that simple. Finn Hogan, hello from Dublin. Well, hello to you, Finn. Hope you're having a good evening. It's boring Wednesday. What have we got? JJ Giroux. Good evening, JJ. Spyrus Devaris. Greetings to you, Spyrus. Nick Brown. Good evening, Nick. How are you? Ian Black. Hello, Ian. Watching from Northern Ireland. Blimey, that's cool. Chris Hockin. Hi, Chris. Yeah, I'm very good. In fact, I'm making a new video. I don't think he's on yet. I'm waiting for, there's a guy left a comment on my channel, Alan Corse. He wanted to donate his Mark IV Mondeo estate to do, because of that last video where I was just walking around the Mark V, talking about things that are wrong with it. To be honest with you, I thought that was going to be a right rubbish video, but it seems that like quite a few people watched it. Unbelievably, I just thought of that off the like the cuff sort of thing, knocked it together, and it kind of done quite well, unbelievably. But I got a lot of comments for people saying, "Can I do the same sort of thing for a Mark IV?" Now, I haven't been messing around with Mark IV Mondeos for a little while now. We still have quite a few. There must be about 20 odd Mark IVs, but they've all been laid up. So I haven't been working on them. But what I'm going to do, I'd say hello, Alan Corse, anyway, and thank you for your offer. Problem is, I'm already halfway through the video now, and I'm using one of our old taxis as our car I'm showing on. So if I do get this video done, it will be this weekend. It all depends how it goes, how much work comes in. So I'm trying to fit into filming in between work. It doesn't seem much when you actually watch it, but when you're trying to do a job and juggle everything else at the same time, it gets it's never easy. Let's see where we are. I don't want to sort of like keep missing people out. That's the problem. Hi, Steve. Hope you're good. I did go to Big Clive live Saturday night show, and I watched him. I took up your offer on that, and I have to say, he's He's calm and collected when he's on live stream. He's really good. He's one of them people. He's got like a broad knowledge of a lot of things. He's very well spoken and well educated, include obviously with LED lighting as well, which I think is his main subject. But he's one of them guys that he would probably have something to say about just about everything. And he's sort of like, he's very knowledgeable. He was quite a pleasure to watch, actually. I subscribed to his live channel, but I think he's got a separate channel for his normal stuff, for his work stuff, bench stuff that he calls it. So I'll get to watch that later when I get the time. But yeah, thanks, Steve. That's a great guy, and he's got a good channel. I like him. He's a very interesting guy. What have we got? Alan Pirouette. Good evening, Alan. How are you? Jussie, I hope I'm saying your name's right. I'm trying. Jussie Tenelman. Hi, Jussie. It's hot days on Finland now. That's good. It's about bloody time we had some summer. Over here in the UK, the weather's starting to get better now. We've had some right crap weather lately, but this weekend coming up, it's going to be like 28 degrees on Sunday, they reckon, and into next week, which is good. And I like the hot weather. I hate it when it's cold. Who else? Seed. I won't say your last name. It's like a tongue twister. Beck Tesevic. I've seen your comments. Thank you very much. Hope you're good over there, wherever you are. Martin B. Good evening, Martin. Pat Kelly. Good evening, Pat. I've seen your comments as well. Thank you very much. Ron Bradley. Hi, Ron. Bani Hussein. Hello, Bani. RS2 Clee. How are you doing? Oh, we might have a question here. Luke. Hello, Luke. I have a Fiesta Mark 7 and the boot release button does not work, but opens with key fob. Is it the button itself or the circuit on the motor? Well, it's not the motor, because if it was the motor, it wouldn't work with the key fob. Chances are there's a micro switch in that little pad where you put your hand on the tailgate and you do that. There's like a little micro switch in there. That's what plays up. I think you can buy them as a unit, and you have to obviously fit them in. We've had quite a few of them in the past on various cars. They're just like a little switch pad thing. Yeah, they're forever going wrong. Russ Castile. Hello. Mark III Mondeo, 300,000 kilometers done. I need to do dual mass flywheel. What other job do you recommend while I'm at it? I don't know what you mean by what other job do you I mean, if you're doing a dual mass flywheel, you'd obviously put a 3-piece clutch in at the same time. Probably best to replace your rear main oil seal while you're at it. I should think it's probably leaking anyway at that kind of mileage. But anything else inside the gearbox area, there's nothing else there. Obviously, change your gearbox oil while that's out. That'd be a plus. I think that's about it. Unless you mean that other things you need doing on the car, but you'll have to sort of like emphasize. Nigel Brooks. Hi, Nigel. Bani Hussein, the Mondeo guru. I don't actually know that. I'll tell you, there must be people out there that know a lot more about Mondeos than I do. It's only because I work. I mean, when I look at some of these Mondeos, there's a whole. I'm going to come to this on this Mark IV Mondeo because I was looking at all the different engines that go in these cars, and there's quite a few engines I've had nothing to do with. So I mean, I've mainly dealt with the 2-litre PSA engine, the 2.2, the 1.8 TDCi, the 2-litre and 1800 Duratec HEs. But there's other engines. There's an LPG engine built by Ford that goes in their Mark IVs. So, and also like the V6 engine. There's a lot that I haven't actually even seen. So, but I'm only going to talk about the ones that I've actually had dealings with. Otherwise, I mean, it's like I say, there must be people out there that have dealt with these other engines in these cars that I've never seen. That must know a heck of a lot more than what I do. But I mean, if I do have any information, I like to share it. Let me see where I am. Hi RS2 Clee. I think, yeah, I've gone down this bit. Nigel Brooks. Hi, Nigel. I'm getting there. I'm losing track. Pete, good evening, Pete. Ian H. Hi, Ian. Do you need to put gasket sealer on a metal gasket water pump? No. No, definitely not. Them metal gaskets, they crush up. As soon as you bolt the water pump up, they crush up. It's the same on the Mark V Mondeos, that the gasket comes with a water pump. It's metal and it's got a ridge in it. And once you've bolted it up, that ridge crushes up and they shouldn't leak. It's the same as like a compression washer for a sump bung. Once it's crushed up, it's sealed. The thing is, never use it twice, because if you were to unbolt it and use the gasket again, then it probably would leak. Tony B. Hello, Tony. Ron Bradley. Hi, Ron. Matthew Manners. Good evening, Matthew. Bani Hussein. Hello from Leeds. Well, hello there, Bani in Leeds. Colin the Mank 74. Good evening from Manchester. Blimey. You're far up north from me. I've actually never been to Manchester or Liverpool. I'll tell you what, the furthest north I think I've ever been was Redcar, and that was on a scooter rally. That was a long time ago. It was a bloody scooter rally, and I went on a Vespa 125. We went to like a scooter run. It was absolutely brilliant. There was like an all-nighter dance. Great old days they were. Ron Bradley. Hi, Ron. Alan Cobbin. Hi, Alan. You're in Cambridgeshire. Well, hello. You want to stop in the garage sometime? Come and have a cup of coffee. Come and get your car serviced. Ron Bradley, get your finger out. Ian Black, do you get much work on the old Renault Trafics? No. And besides, I would probably avoid them like the plague. I'm not keen on Renaults as it is, because they always seem to be so bloody tight to work on. They shove everything, like the Megans and all that. Everything is like shoved into such a tight space. I'm not a fan of Renaults. Well, they're okay, but I'm not a fan of working on them, that's for sure. Russ Castile, it's morning here in New Zealand. Flipping heck. You're on the other side of the world to me. I have no idea what the time is over there. I'd have to actually look that one up. Mayor Keys, hello, love your videos on Mondeo. I had Mark IV, now regretting that I've sold it. Best regards. Well, we've all got to move on sometime, but you could buy another one if there's one cheap enough. Depends where you're living, what kind of price they are. What kind of car do you have now? I regret selling my Mark III Ford Cortina. It would be worth a bloody fortune now. It's like all these old Ford Capris. I mean, when I was young, these cars were like 10 a penny all over the place. But now, flipping heck, they're worth a bloody fortune. I will have to get the kind of... I keep flicking my mouse. Like it's one of them mouses where you touch the mouse and your finger on it and it scrolls. And it just, all your comments just fly up the screen and I lose where I am. Real Somlander, hi, how are you doing? See, this is better. Now I can get everyone's comment on the screen. Plus, I can read it better. Finn Hogan, hi Finn. Have you ever done a video on a Ford S-Max 1.8 TDCi? I've probably worked on one. I've probably done like oil changes and stuff like that, but I haven't done much on them. The 1.8 TDCi, I am familiar with that engine. Those engines, I mean, they're a bit of an archaic engine now. They were out for bloody years in various forms, one shape or another. But over the years, they put more and more like emission-related stuff on them, which made them more unreliable and more things to go wrong. But I do call them bulletproof engines as long as they're looked after, and they're bloody strong engines. Good old things. I mean, we used to work on them for years, and they were all the engines where they stuck them god awful bloody wet belts on. Brian 42, hello. Used your trick to get the rear bearings off the wee Toyota. Do you know what? I can tell you a story. Before I knew how to do that, there was a Yaris in, and I used a bloody great big hammer. I used an air chisel and flipping heck. For 2 weeks afterwards, my bloody arms were like sore, where I've been hammering to try and get it off. I got it off eventually, but I thought never again. And it was only after that when I knew there was another one coming in, I thought, I ain't doing it. I ain't bloody doing that again unless I find out a way of actually doing it. So we found out that way, and I was like, thank God for that. Because I tell you, without that method of getting them off, the air chisel we've got is a good one, and it normally really gets bearings off if you need to, but it wouldn't even touch it. They were on that. I mean, these Yaris bearings are on that bloody tight. Awful things once they seize up. Alan Pirouette, hello. What is your background as to motor mechanics engineering? You were trained at a main dealer, or did you just happen to be? Well, I'm not a genius. I think I just sort of like bullshit my way through all this. No, I was trained at Marshall's, British Leyland, Austin Minis, Maxis, Allegros, all them old cars, Austin Princesses, Ambassadors, Triumphs, all them old cars. Yeah, I used to work on all of them. Morris Marinas, Itals. I've had a lot of experience in the past. Even like the mini Metros. I used to whip engines out of them, take the gearbox off, and there was a whole host of things that went wrong with them gearboxes. I'd knock them gearboxes apart in no time. Second gear problems. There was a bush that used to come out of reverse gear. You'd have to replace the reverse gear and all sorts of stuff like that. But yeah, no, I've been trained. It was Marshall's. The actual company where I first worked a long time ago, it was Maddox and Kirby, and that was in Huntingdon. It's houses now. Then I went up to Marshall's, and then they've left Huntingdon now. So that was the point. I went and worked for Steve, which was from British Leyland to Ford. I mean, it wasn't by choice. It was just that the job turned up. I just sort of like fell into Steve's Taxis job. There was a lot of breakdowns in the evenings. That's how I started their job, by just sort of like having a toolbox in the trunk of my car, going around and fixing his cars as they broke down, just to keep them on the road. Because there was only like a handful of Ford Sierras at the time. What have we got next? The Crazy Life of Super Scort. Hello, good evening. Hope you're keeping well. Also loving the videos and not too far away from Hunts. Brilliant. If you ever pass it, mate, just pop in, say hello, just say who you are. I'll put the kettle on. Be nice to see you. I mean, if anyone wants to ever drop in, just come in and say hello. Just do so. Seed, hi Seed. Wonderful news, thank you. Claudio Dumin, hi, how are you? Romania, wow. How's it over there? I've got a mate, he's lives around the corner from me. He's got a Romanian wife. He's bought a bit of land over there. I think he's going to retire over there. AD, hi AD. That Mark V vid last week will hopefully solve the problem I've got with my fans running 24/7 on my Galaxy. 2 garages and a Ford Steeler have had no idea, so that's my Saturday job. If you've got the grille shutter mechanism with all the slats behind your front bumper, there's a few things can happen. That's if this is what the problem is, because either the wiring's broken, the motor's burnt out on that opens the slats, or the slat that comes off the motor is not connected into the slat mechanism, in which case the motor keeps spinning. Then it can't find its position. So it has like a fail-safe. The ECU puts the fans on, and it puts both fans on absolutely flat out. They absolutely roar. And the problem is the fans will burn out, and you'll have to replace them as well. And I bet they're not cheap. I bet they're the best part of £300 for a set of radiator fans for even the Galaxy. I know they are for the Mondeo. So if the fan, make sure your air conditioning's all switched off and everything. If the fans are on flat out, you need to sort it out rather quick. Otherwise, it will get more costly. Nick Brown, hi Nick. My Mark IV 2013 Mondeo cruise control switch temperamental. Any ideas on cleaning it or why? You could try taking the switches out, getting a can of that spray electrical cleaner, and try and spray it in. If you don't want to take the switch apart, because if you take them apart, you'll never get them back together. You can get some of this spray electrical cleaner and try and spray it in there, then and get an airline and just give it a blowout, and that might cure it. If it doesn't, then maybe go to eBay or somewhere and get a second-hand switch and try it. At least it's a lot cheaper than going and buying a brand new one if it isn't the switch, because normally if it's not the switch, there's a chance it's the clock spring. Because remember, behind you on the Mark IV Mondeos, I haven't really had any clock spring issues, but it's a tape of wires behind the steering wheel, and as you turn into the steering, that the tape is constantly going like that. So the wires are always moving, and they do break, and they do go wrong on the Mark Vs quite a lot. And they do give you like the switches on the steering wheel, they cause problems with them. Claudio Dumin, hi. Finn Hogan, hi Finn. Have you ever worked on a Ford S-Max one point, and do you think of them? I don't really know much about S-Maxes. We don't really have them, but I mean, if it's a 1.8 TDCi, I mean, they're an okay engine. I'm not even sure if they've got it depends what year it is, because they were the ones with the wet belt in them. That's all I'd be thinking of. I'll be thinking, has it got a wet belt in it? Because if it has, I'll be like, you need to do something about that. Either get a chain in it, or I'd phone up the Ford dealer and ask them, it's got a top cam belt, and has it got the wet belt in it, or has it got a chain in it? Because if it's got the wet belt, you could be in trouble if that goes wrong. That will destroy the engine. But I'm not really familiar with S-Maxes. We have a few in for like MOTs and stuff, but we don't generally work at them because all we've really got is Mondeos. But I guess they're okay as a family car. Gaza 8374. Hi Gaza. Yes, I'm good. Thank you very much. Hope you're good too. Mondeo daft as a brush. That's a great name, you know. Good evening to you. What's the latest spanner you bought? Gone cordless? No, I haven't gone cordless. I should actually buy one of them little guns to undo all the little screws on the under trays. I haven't even got one of them. I borrow everybody else's. You see, whenever I buy tools, they tend to go missing. You wouldn't believe how many hammers I've had that I don't even have a hammer now. I just use like Andy's tools at work because he never uses it. He just does MOTs. So I just go to his toolbox when I need something now. But no, I haven't really bought anything lately. If I do see some kind of fandangled tool that's really, really good and I need to buy it, I will let you know. Real Somlander, quick question. Ford Mondeo 2012 2 litre cc it won't start without easy start and engine malfunctioning and appear on the dashboard. You would have to probably scan it with a diagnostic tool. I think you can use your phone on these things now. But it might be worth something like that, even doing a compression test, because the 2 litres, if I take it, that's the Duratec HE engine. If it's got quite a bit of miles on it, they do tend to burn a bit of oil. It might have a compression down. It might have the head gasket gone between 2 cylinders. I would go for like scan it and compression test. Russ Dandy, hi Russ. My fob has decided it wants 2 clicks when unlocking the vehicle. It doesn't matter if it's single or double locked. Could this be requiring new batteries? I wouldn't have thought so. I've not come across that one. I know it's 2 clicks to deadlock it, but it should be 1 click to. I mean, I think you can set these up if you get your handbook out. It's 1 click of the fob to unlock the driver's door, and a 2nd click of the fob to unlock all the passenger doors. That's how they normally are. Or you can set them up as 1 click to unlock everything. But generally speaking, I'd have it 1 click for the driver's door, and the 2nd click would be for all the passengers. Alan Cobbin, hi. Always garage services. How are you doing? I went out a few nights some years back. I forget his name now. He's a good old boy in the tail lift. What's it called? Oh, I can't remember the spectacle lift. He took me out and sort of like went around because I was going to do a bit. I never ended up doing any breakdowns, but it was good fun. It was a good experience. They're still going, aren't they? They were on the RAF Alconbury Airfield down the back. Yeah. Mondeo daft as a brush. I fall asleep on Saturday night watching Clive. Wake up when it's about to finish, 1:30 a.m. on a good night. Siade, it's complicated surname. Lol. I'm from Montenegro. Cheers. Blimey. Flipping heck. Well, hello over there in Montenegro. Andy Caddy, hi mate, keep up the vids. Thank you very much, Andy. I do try. The videos are like, how can I put it? It's like no matter what I put out, it's never good enough. You've always got to do another one to try, and you want the next one to be better than the last one. It never ends up like that. But I have to say, the one we just done, where Monica flung the printer, I like that one. that was the best part of the video for me. That was the funniest part of making it. Luke, hi Luke, thanks. We've got Harry White, hi Harry. Do you know if the Ford Focus 1.6 TDCi engines are reliable? I should think they are. I should think they're pretty reliable. I haven't really heard any horror stories. Once again, it's the same old story. If you service it right, the main thing on the diesel engines is the fuel filter, the engine oil and the filter, to get them done at the right time. Generally speaking, they're pretty sound after that. I'm not 100% on the 1.6, but I would Google it anyway. Try and find as much information as you can from everywhere. And if you get enough people saying the same thing, then you can kind of get like it might be the right answer. But don't go for what anybody, just one person says, because it could be miles off. It's best just to hunt around the internet and see what you can find on them. But I've not really heard anything bad about them. If there was main problems, I'm sure I would have seen a few. Mondo, daft as a brush. Are you a believer in changing manufacturer's manual gearbox oil to ATF? Yeah, we just put cheap stuff in it half the time. I mean, I don't always go for like, even on the Mark V Mondeos, if I change the gearbox oil, I don't even phone up Ford for the gearbox oil now. I'll just phone the manufacturers and see what they've got. It's all pretty much the same anyway. Yaron Glasser. Hi, Yaron. Did you complete timing job on my Fiesta last week using... Did a complete timing job on my Fiesta last week using your instructions? That Fiesta engine that I done the timing belt on, I can't remember where I got that engine from now. There was some engine we changed. I can't even think out what it was out of. It was out of one of our sales cars. There was something wrong with it, but I can't remember. But I always wanted to do a video on that particular engine. I know there's other videos on YouTube, but I like to do it my way. So it turned out quite well. It took a little while to film that one, actually, a bit longer than I thought, but I'm glad I did it. If anything, this is the thing. When I get certain engines that I change, if there's anything interesting on them, like that, like doing the timing belt, I'll try and do it if I get the time. But I'm glad it helped you. Siki Boata. Hi, how are you? Let's not mess up this comment section. Bridport Dorset. Hi, how are you doing over there? Gareth White. My Mark V 16 plate, 2 litre, spanner came on and lost a little power. When I turn it off and on again, problem went. Can you help? Thinking oil pressure sensor. You'd have to get it scanned with a scanner first and see what codes are in the ECU. The trouble is when the spanner light comes on, it can, I mean, it could be a whole host of things. There's so many different things it can be. I'll tell you what I have had a few times, which is a bit of an odd one. When you say 2 litre, I'm taking it that's diesel. That's the diesel engine, because they on the oil filters housing they have a oil pressure switch and an oil pressure control solenoid, and when them oil pressure control solenoids get stuck, they can put the car into limp mode intermittently, if you know what I mean. And they're about £100 for them solenoids. Once you change them, it fixes the problem. I've been having more and more of them. I think I might have to talk about that shortly. But yeah, I would. You're going to have to get a scanner on it and scan the codes in the engine ECU. Otherwise, you're not. You could. I mean, without scanning it, you're wasting your time, unless there was something obvious. Wee Boars. Hi. 62 plate Mark 4.5. Can't you get rid of it for £1,000? Any ideas? 191,000 miles. May just sell for parts. The funny thing is, well, these days you can probably sell a car in bits for more than the car's worth. You could sell it as a whole car for. So sometimes it's best just to break them if it's got a good engine in it. Bloody hell. I mean, what can you sell a Mondeo engine for? If it's a diesel, what is it? You don't say. If it was a diesel engine, I mean, what would you sell a diesel engine for? Between £400, £500, £600, £700. Then you've got all the doors, the tailgate. This is how breakers yards make their money, by selling every little bit. So, I mean, yeah, if you kind of worked it out, what all the parts in that car you could sell them for, if you checked out what everyone else is selling them kind of bits for, then, yeah, it might be worth breaking it into bits. Siki Boata, most interesting channel. Oh, I wouldn't, oh, come on. Oh, I wouldn't say that. But I come here on the live stream. I thought I would do this because I ought to be, really, because there's all you guys commenting on all my videos. I have a heck of a trouble trying to reply to the comments because there's too many. And it's like if I sit here of an evening and I try and run through the comments, I'm like a bloody zombie at the end of the night, and it's like it gets too much. So I'd rather just come on here, and if you can throw something at me, then I might be able to answer it here. But I will try to do the comments. But doing the live stream, it's sort of like it kills an evening for me as well. Just talking about anything really. But anyway, thank you, Siki. Zachariah Zoush. I've got a Mark IV Mondeo Titanium X Sport 2-litre petrol. It consumes a lot of oil. It is a taxi and needs to be topped up every 2 weeks with more than 800 millilitres at a time. I roughly make 700 miles per week. Those engines, they do burn oil. I believe they are a Mazda engine, them petrol engines, and when they get high mileage, they do burn oil. It's just a problem they had. There's not a lot you can do about it. It's probably not even worth trying to repair it. It'd be cheaper just to buy another engine or just keep topping it up. Tough one, because whatever way you look at it, it's going to be expensive. I'll tell you something though. When I go back to the old days, we had a bunch of Ford Sierras and Granadas. They would use a litre of oil or more over the course of 1 weekend just taxiing. And we would be there at the garage. We'd be topping the engines up, sort of like 1.5 litres more oil than it needed, just so they wouldn't use so much over the weekend. They were the good old days. The Scratching Shed. I've not heard of that channel. Good evening to you. Ford Mondeo Mark V alarm keeps going off. If it's got a switch under the bonnet, I would check that. I think that was a Mark III problem. Once again, probably scan it and see if there's anything on the alarm system side of things. It could be one of your door latches, the switches in one of them playing up. So it'll probably need putting on a computer so you can sort of like get an idea where to look. Gareth White, hi Gareth, North Yorkshire, hello up there. Dan Me, your video saved me. Bought Mark IV Mondeo, non-running. Mate tried to starting whilst towing back. Got home, found snapped drill bit. Mate tried to starting whilst towing back. Got home, found snapped drill. I'm not too sure what you're saying, but whatever you found, if it's fixed it, then that's fantastic. It's nice when you at least sort of like find the answer to something. I do know. Anyway, hi Dan, hope you're good. Daniel Barnes, good evening to you, Daniel. Siki Bahawata, greetings from Poland. Well, hello over there. How are you doing? My next door neighbours are Polish. They're very nice people. Ali Mack, mechanical. Hi, Ali. Hey, from the Highlands of Scotland. My dad was from Glasgow. He come down from Glasgow and moved to London, where he met my mum. That was back in the 1960s. But yeah, he is a Glaswegian. Cian Gerity, what's your opinion on the Toyota hybrids? I think I'm getting the feeling they're very good. I really am, because there's a few of our taxi drivers that have gone, and not once have any of them ever come in and said, I've got a problem. You don't hear from them. They just hear nothing. And every time they just drive in, they're very nice looking cars, these Toyotas nowadays. And all these hybrid, they seem to be very good. I'm getting the feeling Toyotas are very well put together cars, and they're working. Yeah, I haven't heard nothing bad about them whatsoever. So I can't really comment because I've never worked on them. But usually if there's bad things, you get to hear about it, and I haven't heard nothing. Roxy, hi Roxy. Derby, hello there in Derby. Mark IV 14 plate 2 litre diesel, just on 92,000 miles. Best car I've ever owned. I pull my caravan all over. Brilliant. It's nice when you get stories where you bought a car, it just does what you need it to do, and it doesn't give you grief. That obviously doesn't always happen, because there's always going to be a few of you out there that are going to buy a car and it's going to be a complete freaking lemon, and you're going to have nothing but trouble with it. But it is nice to hear the good stories. And I've just lost. Do you know what, guys? There's a lot of comments here, and I'm probably sort of like running about half an hour behind again. AD, hi AD. Mark IV had a 1.6 EcoBoost petrol. When Ford were doing the recall work on the Fiesta Focus EcoBoosts, I rang them up and asked about the Mondeo Galaxies, and they had no idea they were even fitted. Yeah. We haven't had any EcoBoosts, not yet. I did hear something about the EcoBoost. There was some pipe at the back of the engine was leaking and they were blowing up. They were losing their coolant and they were blowing up. There was like a big thing about them, a big recall or something. Sometimes our parts van from Ford comes around and there's an EcoBoost engine in the back. And I said, oh, what's that for? Oh, he goes, it's another EcoBoost engine. I think they've had their problems. But once again, it's not an engine that I've really had much to do with. So, well, anything to do with, really. So I wouldn't like to comment and say whether they're good or bad. But I know they have had their sort of like teething troubles. Bridport, Dorset, hello. Does the 1.5 TDCi engine in the Focus and the Mondeo have an oil quality sensor, as my Focus Titanium X keeps going into limp every 6,000 miles or so with local driving? They probably come up with, it would be a fault in the ECU. It wouldn't come up on the dash. It would say oil service, and you'd have to, if you don't do a reset for the oil service, you can get a fault in the ECU saying engine oil deteriorated. And if that's left too long, it could put your car into limp mode. So you need to sort of like, if you haven't given it an oil change, obviously give it an oil change, but you need a scanner to scan all your ECU codes. You need to clear everything. But I think when that engine oil deteriorated, you need to actually reset your service indicator first to clear the service light. Then you can remove the engine oil deteriorated code. But there again, if your car's going to limp mode, there might be something else. There might be another problem there you need to get looking at. This is the trouble. There's so many things that can go wrong in these cars these days. You need to sort of like get it plugged in. Then you've got an idea where you're looking. Colin Patton. Hi, Colin. Mark V 180 brake, Mondeo Estate with a sunroof and moonroof. Ooh, that's a fancy one. Do I need any maintained on it? I've had zero to do with the moonroofs. Absolutely zero. I know in the past you could get a little bit of grease, special grease from the dealer, and you would smear it on where the roof would slide. It would be something I'd be more inclined to ask the Ford dealer about. But I should think as things are these days, you probably haven't got to do much maintenance on something like that at all, if at all. But it might be worth asking them, because in the Ford's service bulletin, they might have something about them roofs, if it comes in for service, that they have to do to it. But I don't know. I've never had the dealings with one yet. So ask Ford. You might get a good answer, or a useful answer at least. Dan, hi Dan. Previous owner tried doing cam belt. Oh, I see. And left the drill bit. Going back a few years, we had somebody fit a cam belt on a Mark V and left the pin in the camshaft pulley. Forgot to take it out, put the covers back on and cranked it over. Subsequently, it needed a new camshaft pulley, and it didn't break nothing, but you can guess it. it weren't a very good situation. I wasn't even there to see that, but I just heard about it. Haid, hello. I have a Ford Transit 2004 model, 2-litre TDCi. I just changed all 4 injectors and programmed them using FORScan, but they give too much fuel and engine smokes and banging noise. How to reset? You would basically, I mean, if you've coded all the injectors, you see, I haven't used FORScan yet. I use a snap-on scanner. But usually, if you recode your injectors, there are a few other settings you can put in, like to reset your high pressure fuel system, because you've disturbed part of the high pressure system. There's a few more things you can do. But when you say you have changed all 4 injectors, where did you get the injectors from? Are they used injectors? Are they from a motor factors, or are they genuine Ford ones? Because I'll tell you for now, I'm not 100% sure about remanufactured injectors, and a lot of these injectors you get, the aftermarket ones that are cheaper, I've had hell and all trouble with them, to the point where I won't even buy them. Whenever I need an injector for like a Mondeo Mark 5 or something like that, I will buy a genuine one. Even Euro car parts, they sell genuine injectors. They're a bit pricey, but they're not as much as what Ford will charge. But if you get the genuine injectors, 99% of the time they will work. And as I say, the aftermarket ones, I've had so many problems with them in the past, I just don't even go near them anymore. Linley, hi, how are you? Are Skoda Superbs any good? Yes, they are. They are Volkswagen now, aren't they? I remember Skoda when it was Skoda. We called them wheelbarrows, but they were with the engines in the boot. Flipping heck. But no, Skoda got taken over by Volkswagen. I shouldn't think there's much goes wrong with them. They're pretty decent cars. My sister has a Skoda Octavia. There's not much goes wrong with that apart from tyres. No, they're good cars now. Yaron Glasser, how important is it to tighten the crankshaft pulley to spec, or could a good impact wrench do the job? I'll be honest with you, I never tighten a crankshaft bolt up to spec. I just do them up with an impact gun, nice and tight. And there's a reason for that. When you torque something up, most nuts and bolts, you'll torque them up with a torque wrench, but on a lot of these crankshaft bolts, especially the ones I have to do on the Mark 5s, they've got an absolute ton of Loctite on them. And the argument I've got is, how can you put a proper torque setting on something with a ton of Loctite on it? So, I mean, I just sort of like bang them up. Well, yeah, I'd get rid of all the old Loctite, put new Loctite on, and then bang them up with an air gun. If you've got a good air gun and a good compressor working your air gun, that shouldn't come loose again. But no, not once have I ever tightened a crankshaft pulley bolt up. But I mean, if you're concerned about it, then by all means. The only trouble is when you're trying to tighten up a crankshaft bolt with a torque wrench, you've got to lock the engine somehow. And that might not be an easy thing to do. That might involve removing the starter motor. Because I mean, a lot of times you've got to take the starter motor out and you've got to put a special tool in to the flywheel to lock the flywheel and hold it. Unless you've got some other way of holding the flywheel. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble trying to hold the engine turning. That's why I just gun them up. I've never had any problems. Dan me, 16 rockers later, she runs sweet. Oh, I see. Well, I'll tell you, that's a good thing with them engines. At least they just break the rockers. I know it's a lot of work, but it's a damn sight better than bending all the valves. But that's great. That was a hell of a job you've done there. Matthew Manners. Hi, Matthew. Mark IV Escort XR3i Cabriolet in the garage. Prices are crazy, or anything 80s, 90s Ford. Well, I mean, you can charge. They'll just charge what they like. Depends what you need doing, really. Blimey, that's going back some time. I'd like to see that car. XR3i. Is that the one with the pepper pot wheels? Am I right there? Or was that a Mark III Escort? No, I'm sure it's a Mark IV. My memory's a bit hazy. RS2 Clee. Due to the new ULEZ coming my way, I had to scrap my Z-Tech S 2-litre diesel. Essex, South East London, South Circular. Gutted was a real good engine in that. I take it this is all this emission requirements coming in, and yeah, there's no fun anymore, is there? Come back the 1980s. Usman Sakib. Hi, Usman. I need to change timing belt for a Peugeot 308 2-litre HDI. I have to come a long way to you. Please give me your garage details. Well, in all my videos, you can see the phone number. Just ring up. Just phone up, and then I'll give you the address and all that, postcode and all that. In fact, if I find your comments somewhere, I'll leave you the postcode and you can just put it in the sat nav. But I'm taking it Peugeot 2-litre HDI. Yeah. Just watch any of the videos. You'll see the phone number on the garage, because the garage is in is in most of the videos. Mark III. Okay. Aidin Salis. Hi, Alan. Good living. How are you? Hi, Aiden. How? Yep. Good living. Have I? Everything's great. Anyway, hi, Aiden. 087 male. Dublin. Oh, that's where you're from. I've seen your comments quite a few times. Fantastic. Right comment. Can you change the spark plugs in my Subaru? Well, it probably could. What are they? Don't tell me they're buried somewhere. I can just imagine. It's never going to be easy, is it? It's like trying to change the oil filter on a Renault. I had a flipping Nissan Juke in today. The oil filter wasn't exactly funny getting that off. Can you change the spark plugs in my Subaru? I probably could, if I can find them. I can just imagine they're hidden somewhere, buried underneath a ton of crap. Yeah, if we had to, we could. Stefan Allen. Hello there, loving the content. Keep up good work. Thank you, Stefan. Tom Boone. Hi, Tom. I have 2 Mark IV Mondeos. On one, clutch biting point is a bit weak. Biting point is narrow, if you know what I mean. No sharpness to it. Dual mass flywheel is completely silent and no clutch slippage at all. I wouldn't worry too much if it's not slipping. I'll tell you what you want to do. Drive it about 30, 40 miles an hour, put it in top gear, labour the engine going up a hill and put your foot flat to the floor on the throttle. If it don't slip, then I wouldn't worry about it too much. Wait until it starts slipping slightly, then you know it's time to change it, because it's not going to be a cheap job, is it? RS2 Lee, and it's RS2K Lee, as in the Escort RS2000. Oh, nice car. You still got one then? Flipping heck. They were a very nice car back in the day. It's one of them cars I just don't see anymore. It's just like they've all gone. So if you got one, that must be worth a bob or two. The crazy life of Super Skort. Quick question: which Ford Lynx is the best? 1.8 TD or TDCi or TDCDI? As the pistons on the TDCDI crack, had one the other month, and luckily it has changed. But have you come across a cracked piston? No, I've never come across a cracked piston on any of them engines. The 1.8 TD, flipping heck, that's going back some in it. Is that the one where you got the two belts? You've got the cam belt and you've got the another belt for the pump. That's before we even had the common rail injections on them. It's basically the same engine, really. No, I'd say the TDCIs are the better one, but I've never had cracked pistons, and we had a whole fleet of them. I should think if anything's going wrong with it, it's because there is something wrong with it and it's causing it. Do you remember when these diesels, when they're not running right, they cause all kinds of detonations in the cylinders? They can do a lot of damage. So they've got to be running right. Gareth White, hi Gareth. Mark 5 Mondeo 16 plate. How easy is it to facelift the front grille from the standard silver to black? Depends how much money you got, really. You've got to take the bumper off, and then you can get the grille and everything and just change it from the back. But you've got to take the bumper off, which is easy enough anyway. It's just a case of how much it will cost. But I do know them grills, they have to come out from the back of the bumper. So yeah, they're easy enough to do. It's no problem. But I don't know what they cost though. I shouldn't think they're cheap. Gaza 8374. I would be humbled if you could do oil and plug change on my 2018 SD Focus Tangerine Scream. I'll travel from Lee. Yeah, I'll do that. Bring it down. Come on, bring the bloody thing down. We'll do that. Monica might want to go for a drive in it though. But yeah, no problem at all. Thanks, Gaza. We'll sort that out for you. Dudley Del Telly. Where's Monica? She's probably out with one of her friends tonight. She has a busy old life. She will come and do a live stream with me at some point. I don't know whether she's going to actually come here and sit here with me, or whether I'll give her a link and she'll sit at home and do it. But she will do it one week. I will sort of like announce it when she is free to do it. But I did say last week it could be a few weeks because she has got quite a bit of a schedule lined up. So and she's not. It's one of them. You know how women are like. You got to catch them at the right minute. But she will be coming on at some point. Kombrig Bolakov, hello. Do you service Russian? No. I wouldn't even know what one looks like. ZIL trucks. I don't even know what that is. I'd like you would have to send me a picture. Steve, hi Steve. Do you have any form of internet contact method that you can give out? You used to have a face cloth. Yeah, well, as soon as I discovered that Mark Zuckerberg is a cyborg, I put Facebook in the bin and I never looked back. I took Instagram and that followed. Sweet. That followed as well. Well, give us a call. Just ring us up at the garage. I'll give you whatever details you need. But the only social media I've got now is YouTube. And the way things are going, you don't even know what that's going to be like shortly. But yeah, I did used to have like LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Oh, I can't even remember now. I got rid of them all. I never had any use. I know Facebook is useful. It's useful for a lot of things, and a lot of groups use them for this, that, and the other. Very helpful if you need it. But I never had a use for it. But yeah, just call us at the garage, and I'll give you my email and all that, and you can. If you need any information, we can sort it out. Rita Santos, hydrate. See, I'm very forgetful. Thanks for that. Evelyn Bodgajiv. Hi. Hi, Alan. What is the most common reason for the turbo to go? Is it starving of oil, blocked feed pipe, blocked DPFs, or turbo sucking pieces of rubber from the airway? It can be a number of things. It depends what car it is, to be honest with you. If you've got a car that's had lack of oil changes, the feed pipe, there's normally a little filter in it where the banjo bolt the feed pipe bolts on. There's normally a little filter, and they can get blocked up with carbon. That's generally due to lack of oil changes, and that can cause oil starvation to the turbo, and obviously that can make it go. I know that when you switch a car off these days, nobody, well, hardly anybody bothers, but you're supposed to stop, let the car tick over for 5-6 seconds or so, then switch the engine off, because the turbo is still spinning. The moment you switch the ignition off, if the revs were still up high and you just switch ignition off, the turbo is still spinning even though you cut the oil feed, and over a period of time that's probably not doing it any good. There's loads of things that can make the turbo go. A piece of debris getting through the air cleaner or something like that, going and hitting the impeller can be the start of destroying it. But a lot of it comes down to lack of oil changes, bad maintenance, really. So the turbos I've had to do with, especially on like the Mondeos, they've been very good. They've been pretty strong turbos. But again, all our cars are serviced. They have the oil changes done at the right time. So, yeah, many things. But I would say, generally speaking, it comes down to lack of oil changes. Rita Santos, video call. Video call. I'm on a video call. Oops. At some point, if anybody wanted to actually jump on the screen here as well, I'm not sure how to do it. I think I've got to send you a link. Ali Mac Mechanical, common problem on the Audi and Volkswagen clock springs. Yeah, there's some cars, the clock springs are like common thing for playing up, and other cars you never hear them. They never go wrong. It's funny that. Mark Tyler, hi Mark. I've just bought back my old 1975 Vauxhall VX490. Oh my God. Do you know what? I've never had one of them. I've never even sat in one of them. But my God, would I love to go for a drive in one of them? Proper classic. Lovely. I like all the old cars, especially 1970s and 1980s cars. More than 1970s though. Real Salamander, yes, 30,000. Cool. Gary Ross, hi Gary. Grinder one, hi Grinder. I'm sure you can program the fob amount of clicks to unlock using Forescan. You probably can. I've got to get into this Forescan. I've not used it yet, but I've got to look into it when I find the time, because I'm hearing more and more it can do so much. A really useful piece of software to have. Mark 360X, getting headlight malfunction on dashboard. 09 Mark IV titanium has adaptive headlights on driver's side, not turning into corners. Is this an easy fix? It depends. You'd have to get it checked out. You probably got I know the levelers, they've got like little units on your suspension front and rear. Sometimes the poppers on the little rods that these leveler units are on, they can break off or get knocked off, or the ball joints can come off. So there's things you can check. Plus you can have to have your car plugged in, and it'll probably tell you for the ECU what's wrong. if not, the first thing I would check would be your front and rear suspension. There's like a little box with a little lever on it. I'll check them first. They ain't been knocked off. It might be something simple like that. Russ Dandy, hi Russ. Thanks for the input on my key fob and the double clicks for all-round opening, single for driver's door. I will leave it as it is and check it tomorrow. Brilliant. So there are a lot of cars like that. One click on the key fob to open the driver's door. The second click will open all the passengers' doors. It's one of them safety things, you know, like when you're getting another, you know, like a lot of cars, you'll get in the car. As soon as you pull away, all the doors will automatically lock. It's just safety stuff. Alan Cobbin, hi Alan. Yes, as far as I know, always is still up there. Brilliant. Luke, hello. I've noticed that you have a fair amount of decent Mark 1 Ford Focuses up for sale in some of your videos. I used to have a Mark 1 Focus 1.4 myself. All the Focuses, I haven't really taken much notice of them, but they're hire cars. They're all automatics though, because the car sales is right opposite RF Alconbury. The Americans, they just love their automatics. They're not, a lot of them are, I mean, there's some are okay, but most of them don't like gears. They just like the auto boxes. And that's what we've got. They will be all being sold off in the near future. And some of them are actually still in very nice condition. Hi, Bill. Do you think the price of petrol will down or up? I'm thinking of buying a 3-door Cosy. Oh, 3-door Cosy. Oh, God. Do you know, I done a head gasket on a Sierra Cosworth some years back, and I'll always remember it. I took it for a road test, and I was just going around this bend, and the road was a little bit slippery, a bit wet. There was a bus coming towards me the other way, and I thought I'll put my foot down a little bit, and I only put my foot down a bit, and the whole back end of the car just like snaked like that. It was like, oh! I quickly let go of the throttle, otherwise I'd gone head on into this bloody bus. But yeah, I don't think the petrol's ever going to come down. I think it's going to keep going up. They seem to sort of like take it up, bring it down a touch, then up again, then down a little bit, then up a bit more. But it never seems to come down, though, does it? So no, unless you've got access to like an American air base, they get cheap petrol on them. Although it's probably a different grade. But no, I don't think the petrol's ever going to come down. But a Cosy would be nice. Hi, Steve. Another channel to check out is Electro Boom. Not heard of it. Do you know what? There must be millions of channels on YouTube. Never even heard of. But don't worry, I will check it out, because I enjoyed watching that Big Clive. He's good, he is. But yeah, I'll check that one out as well. Thanks. Paul Flanagan, hi Paul. Hope you're keeping well. Excellent content on the channel. I just bought a Mark IV Mondeo TDCi to replace a Mark VI Jetta. The Jetta was a pile of crap. Mondeo is going well so far. Volkswagen Jetta, blimey. I had a race of one of them once. It was touch and go. Yeah, well, I'm glad your Mondeo's going well, though. I thought Volkswagens are supposed to be good cars. Although I'm not 100%. Jetta was exactly sort of like the best of shapes. Anyway, nice one, Paul. I'm glad the Mondeo's are okay. Carlos Peralta from Mayenne, France. Wow. How's it going over there? I never really hear anyone from France, even though it's like a big old country. But anyway, that's great. Hope you're doing well over there, Carlos. Grinder One, remember to give the stream a thumbs up, guys. I don't get this YouTube thumbs up and thumbs down, Lark. It's like, yeah, I'll tell you something though. There were some videos I watch, and I mean, I can understand that there's certain, like if you go on like the Guardian News or something, and they've covered a certain subject, and there's about 5,000 thumbs downs to 300 thumbs up. It's because they've covered something that everybody don't like what they're saying, because they try and spin it. But there's some videos I watched. There was an Ed Sheeran video. He's just dancing with this. He had this woman. I forget the name of the song, but he's dancing. She's a professional dancer, and it was just like, it must have taken hell and all time to make that video. And this woman that was dancing with him was absolutely fantastic. And he's got millions of views in it, but there's so many thousands and thousands of thumbs down. And it's like someone's had to take the time to stretch their finger out to press the button to give it a thumbs down. And I thought, it's brilliant. And I know the guy's stinking rich, but I mean, it was still a brilliant song and a brilliant piece of dancing. I don't understand how people can give some of these videos a thumbs down. Anyway, I'm getting off track. Ivelyn, hi. Can you please do a vid to explain how to avoid brake discs deformation after fitting new ones, and what do we need to look for installing new discs on front and rear? We'll pop to say hi one day. That's great. If I ever get the chance to cover something like that again, you're probably best come in, whenever you pop in, come and explain to me in more detail what problems you've encountered, and then we'll kind of go through it then. And if I do find it's like something I can talk about, because the trouble is I've already done like brake videos, and everyone does brake videos. It's like I can't really do anymore. Nobody will watch them. But if there's something there that's really interested and needs to know, so when you do pop in, if you do, come and see me and we'll have a chat. Hi, Steve. ATF is not good for a manual gearbox. I might have got the you're talking about automatic transmission fluid. I think I answered one back there. I was talking about aftermarket manual gearbox oil. No, I wouldn't put automatic gearbox oil in a manual. I think I answered it wrong back there to someone else. No, I'd get aftermarket oil. I wouldn't put what Ford is selling to go in the gearbox. If I change the manual gearbox oil, I would put manual gearbox oil in it, whatever it is, 75, 90, whatever it is. I'd put that back in it, but from a motor factors, which is a lot cheaper than what Ford would sell it for. But no, I wouldn't put automatic transmission fluid in it. Andy Black, hi Andy. How often do you change the brake fluid on the taxis? We are often told every 2 years. What do you think? In all my years, only once have I ever come across water in a brake pipe, in a brake line. And there was a back brake not working because of it. And when I bled it, I saw the water come out of it. And it was like, holy crap. That was only once. No, I think because of the quality of brake fluid these days is so high, it kind of goes off a lot quicker. But it's one of those things you could leave it for a bloody long time, for years, and you'd never know. Because the problem is, all these cars that get bought brand new, for the first few years they probably get serviced properly, and after that, when they get sold off and then they're not worth that much, whoever gets them probably doesn't even have them serviced properly, certainly don't have the brake fluid done. It would be years and years before you would probably encounter a brake fluid problem. And what it boils down to is the brake fluid would turn to water eventually, and that would take a long old time. We don't replace brake fluid on these taxis. We just don't do it. I know what you're saying every 2 years, but I don't bother doing it. I've never had to. And we're sort of like some of these cars. If you take a 15 plate Mondeo, it's now 6 years later, and I've never changed brake fluid on them. I know some people like to have it done because that's what the service manual says, but nah, brake fluid does last a long time. But then once again, if it's your own car and you want to be on top of everything, then it don't take much to change them anyway. But bear in mind that some of these cars, you have to plug a scanner in and bleed them electronically using your scanner. Hi, Jordan. How are you? When you back? I've never been there in the first place. I've still got my tickets though. They won't even give me a refund. My money is still floating around in the cloud somewhere. I tried to get a refund. I've been trying to get a refund for ages now. They keep saying it's in process because I kind of figured my original tickets went to travel vouchers, so they would last. But now because this crap is dragging on and on and on, I get the feeling they're going to say, well, the time's run out, you just lost your money. So I thought I'd get a refund, put it back in my bank account where I know where it is. And then when everything blows over, I'll just buy new tickets. So I will be coming over there when everything's clear, but I can't see it being until next year now. But there's too many restrictions over there. I keep watching. I'm still watching the news over there, and it's like they're really taking it too seriously. They're well over the top a bit. I wish they'd just sort of like chill out, take off their bloody face masks and all that crap, and get on with it. Just get back to normal. But anyway, Jordan, it's nice to hear from you. I hope you're doing well. I haven't heard from you in a while. So, yeah, we'll have a chat sometime, mate. Robert, hi, Robert. 15 plate Focus 1.6 TDCI, got black smoke and acceleration. Changed fuel filter, checked for boost leaks and DPF all okay. Any experience on these engines? Not a great deal. I would say probably more injector related than anything. Probably injectors not firing the fuel, atomizing it properly. I'm pretty sure they're not great engines when it comes to injectors. I would personally get some of that fuel treatment you put in your fuel tank to clean the injectors. I'd go down that route. That's the cheapest option you got. Obviously, scan the car, make sure there's no fault codes or anything like that. All your turbo hoses are secure, not leaking at all. If everything checks out okay and there's no codes, put some fuel cleaner in it and give it a good whack down the motorway. See if that does it any good. Robert, doesn't burn any oil either. That's good. That's always a good sign. ST-NAF, be great if you did some work on the 2.2 Duratorque variant in the Mark III. They were a quick old engine. That's why I like the Mark III. They were like ragged, rapid. I mean, I've never seen a diesel engine flipping fly so fast. The diesels were always noisy, clunky old things. Them bloody Duratorques especially them 2.2s. Holy crap, could they move? They could like accelerate. It would be unbelievable how fast a diesel can like take off. I mean, it might not seem much today, but you go back to the year 2000 when the Mark III's first come out, or whenever they brought them out a few years later, them 2.2s, there was like, bloody hell. Steve, hi Steve, timestamp 8:38. It's you've lost me. I'm blind. Yeah, I'm brain dead anyway at the minute. Ali Mac, I'm up in Inverness. Oh wow. Well, hello up there in Inverness. What have I just done? Oh, Captain Kid, hi. I've got 2008 S-Max 2 litre Z-Tech TDCI. Same engine as the Mondeo Mark IV. I have tried taking the EGR off to give it a good clean, but the bolt head connecting from EGR to cooler snapped. What's best to fix? You probably have to take the whole lot off and try and get it out, or get another cooler bit, because the EGR comes off the cooler, doesn't it? Yeah, if it's snapped, then I think you just have to slog it out and get it all off, do it properly, because you don't really want to leave it like that, because one bolt's not going to be holding it on properly. It will probably come loose and it'll start leaking. Yeah, not very nice. Good luck on that one. Brendan Brady fan. Hi, how are you, Brendan? I'm very good. I hope you're good too. Now my miles per gallon gone from 44 to 33. Yeah, the trouble is they're flipping EGR's nothing but trouble anyway, for the little they actually do. You probably, unless you've got a good mate who can fix it for you. Hi Seed, I agreed with Sicky, 100% most useful channel. Cheers. I'm not really that technical, guys. I just sort of like pick up what I learn from a day-to-day basis. JP, hi JP. Ford Mondeo 2008 2-litre TDCi power shift. Where can I find the hole to hold the timing at the flywheel, since it's automatic? Can't find it behind the starter. At least can't see it with starter there. I'm sure it is. I might have to get back to you on that one, because I'd done a timing belt on one of them cars with an automatic power shift gearbox in it. I'm sure the hole's there. It is. It's definitely not round by the drive shaft side. I think you need a good torch. I might have to get back to you on that, but I'm damn sure it's there. Stefan Allen, hi Stefan. Ford Transit Connect snapped all 5 wheel studs on the front driver's side. Any ideas? When you say it snapped all 5 wheel studs, I mean, did somebody leave your wheel nuts loose? Because that will make them break. Or did they snap when someone was undoing them? Maybe they've been done up too tight, or stripped the threads or something, cross-threaded them, putting the wheel nuts on. I mean, you can get some of these wheel nuts that are sort of like they're done up so flipping tight, you can actually snap the stud or something trying to undo them. Yeah, you'd have to sort of like emphasize a bit more information there. Steve 74, hi Steve. What are your views on electric vehicle cars and the lack of service technicians around the country? And will your garage change to accommodate the vehicles when they start to be used? I'm pretty much convinced that we won't be going to electric vehicles. The taxi business will no longer exist. I think it'll be gone in a few years' time, or if it'll be moved into different hands. Someone else will have bought it out, and it'll be gone, and it'll be their problem, and I won't be there anyway. So I don't think I'll ever be seeing electric cars. It's something I'm not trained on. There was a guy I spoke to who knew a bit about them, but I mean, unless I know that I'm going to be dealing with that kind of stuff, I'm not really that interested in it. And it's like there's a whole story on electric cars. It's like, are they good? Are they bad? But no, I shan't be going there. I'm not getting involved with electric cars at the minute. And as far as our taxis go, I don't think we'll ever have electric cars. I think the company will be sold off to somebody else, and I'll move on somewhere else as well. Brendan Brady, hi. Japanese cars given me the least amount of grief. compared to other cars I've owned, and not sure what other people's opinions are on modern old cars and reliability now with all the emission stuff. Well, Japanese cars, generally speaking, are pretty good. The emission-related stuff they bolt on all these cars these days is nothing but trouble half the time. When you say old cars, it depends how far back you're going. But I think if you put it this way, when the engines are made nowadays, they're generally better than what were made years ago. They have to be technically sort of like, I don't know how to put it, more precise in the manufacturing process because of all this stringent emission related requirements. The engines literally have to be made spot on, really. Otherwise, all the emission stuff they bolt onto the engines isn't going to work properly. So you've got to have these engines running like at peak performance. So and engines weren't exactly sort of like made precision made in the past. So I guess a lot of it comes down to how good is all the parts that are bolted to the engine. Generally speaking, the engines are okay. It's all the bits that go on them that are letting them down. Chris Wilkinson, hi Chris. Ford Mondeo Mark V, pulled my caravan all over, no problems, but I had problems with the starter motor, missing the flywheel, but had it changed and it was fine after that. Anything else I should know about this? Well, they're one of them heavy-duty starter motors, isn't they? Stop-start technology, I guess. They do go wrong. I don't trust them. I switched to stop-start off because I think it's just burning them out. I think they'll let you down at a junction one day. I'm not really not convinced of them. They're just all they are is a more heavier duty starter motor with 2 solenoids on it, and then hence the vehicle battery is like twice the price of a normal vehicle battery because it's a more heavy duty battery. We don't have many starter motor problems on the Mark V, but they do go wrong from time to time. And I can tell you now, you probably already know this, a starter motor for a Mark V is what from Ford is about £600 on the newer ones, on the 18 plates. I think they're about a bit cheaper than that on the 15, 16 plates. They're not cheap at all. But yeah, they do wear out just like any other starter motor, despite the price of them. Anubis 800, what's up? What's up? Thank you, Anubis. I'm doing great. What is the time? Nearly 9:30. I'm going to give it another half an hour, and then I'm going to drop dead. Stu Moyes, hi. A C-Max TDCi 1.6. Just stopped running it. Auto driving. Fine. Then just shut down. Now won't start. Help. You'll have to call the AA out. Get them to, they'll probably diagnose a fuel pump and drop it off at the nearest garage for you. Yeah, you'll have to get that looked at. Hi, Steve. Toyotas have a reputation for never going wrong, like Nissan used to be. Years ago, I asked an AA mechanic friend about them. Never called out to a Datsun Nissan in the 80s. Yeah, no, I think Toyotas have come a long way. They, I don't really hear anything about them. They just work. I think they're ever so good these days. You're right. Colin Edwards, hi Colin. Do a rant on high pressure oil leak. High pressure oil leak. I think I have. Is that on the high pressure fuel pump? I think I've already slated them. They piss out oil all over the place. Chris Wilkinson, plus the best small automatic car I can buy for my partner as they just passed their test, only looking for a 1.4-ish, nothing bigger. Okay. Captain Kid, I've got 2008 S-Max 2 litres E-Tech. Same engine as the Mondeo Mark IV. I have tried taking the EGR off to give it a good clean, but the bolt, I've already seen that one. I don't know what that says. I don't know what, I can't read whatever language that is. I've got 2011 Chrysler Town Country, and AC compressor turns off after 20 seconds and then turns on after a minute, then turns on after 5 minutes, then stops turning on. Charged 3 times. Yeah. I'm not an AC expert, but usually if they run low on gas, they'll cut out and won't go again. Or if there's too much gas in them, normally if there's too much gas, they're constantly cutting in and out really quickly. No, you'd have to get that looked at by someone who actually does AC. If I saw it, I'd have an idea. But it sounds like you've got a whole heap of trouble there. Russ Castile, I want to give it a good refresh of the car. So with subframe and gearbox out, should I do water pump, AC compressor, which goes clack, clack when AC is on, etc., and intake manifold, flappy things, etc. If you've got the time and there's certain things you want to do, while certain things are out of the way, like the subframe, and it's a lot easier to get to, then go and do it. It depends. It depends what you really want to get done there. But yeah, with the subframe off, it does make life a lot easier. So yeah, I mean, depends how much time you've got. If you want to get all these things done, then if you want to do them, then do them. Dave Hedgehog, thank you, Dave. Notice your videos focus more on the larger PSA Ford engines. What are your thoughts on the 1.4? They're okay, but we don't really do much of the Mark IV. I'm sorry, the Mark IV, the 1.4. I have had a few 1.4 engines. The one thing I will say about them, which is annoying, is that they're one of them engines that the diesel injectors tend to leak, like the Black Death, where they spew the gases past the injector seals, and you have to take the injectors out and change the seals and all that. I've had quite a few like that. Once again, if you've got one of them engines and it is leaking the injectors, get it done quick, because the gases that come out from them injector seals is absolutely horrible. It'll kill you. It's terrible stuff. And the trouble is, it's leaking and you're driving the car and it's coming in and you're breathing it in. It does you in. But no, I guess them engines are okay. It's the same old story. I keep saying this. If you own one of these cars, if you get it a low enough mileage and you're able to look after it properly and give it the proper oil changes, it'll do you well, no doubt. But it's when you buy one of these cars and it's been abused, then it's a downward spiral, because if the damage is already done, you're not going to be able to save it. Colin Patton, hi Colin. What is the scanner you use on Mark V Mondeo? I was thinking of getting one. Well, we use the Snap-on Solus Ultra. It's probably not the best thing to get, because the problem is they charge a fortune for it. Then you have to have you're paying for the software updates. It's a bit like a lease. You have to keep paying for all the software updates, and I believe the scanner we've got, they're not updating it no more anymore. So you've got to buy. So now this expensive scanner we got, we're going to have to trade it in and get another one, get the updated version, so we can then carry on. Or we can't update the scanner we got. So it's all a swizz. It's all to get money out of you. There's plenty of alternatives. I would probably be looking more in, if it's just yourself on your private car, I'll be looking more into that 4Scan, because I think that can do a lot of things, and that's probably all you need. And I think the software is free. So unless you want to buy a scanner for sort of like doing other people's cars. But they're expensive. They're just bloody expensive. There's lots of alternatives out there, but you've got to have the time to sit down and read all the reviews on them to find out whether they're any good or not. Hi, Steve. Smoking diesel engines are often due to a blob of crap on the map sensor. That can be quite true. We had a BMW X3. It had this problem. It kept going into limp mode, and it had lack of power as well. And that the map sensor was on the back of the manifold. You couldn't see it. It was buried down the back of the manifold. And you pulled the map sensor out, and it was covered in like carbon. Cleaned it all out. Still no different. Took it out again and put a drill bit where the map sensor goes. Put a drill bit in the back of the manifold, and there was only a little hole there. And the hole the map sensor goes into was blocked with carbon as well. Once we put the drill bit in there and cleaned the hole out, it was fine. But yeah, manifold absolute pressure sensor. Yeah, they can cause you a whole host of problems. Ruska still used to have Skoda 120-hour Estelle. Was 5-speed box, but didn't need the top gear because it was so gutless. There was one of them that used to go around here, and it was ever so quick. It was all souped up and everything. I remember them cars. I done a head gasket in one of them, and I flicking broke my back, bending over. Flipping it, that's going back some. Ali Mac, Skoda Superb Mark 1 had two of them X-Taxis, a V6 TDI 2.5 and 2 litre TDI twin cam. Both had nearly 200,000 on them when I sold them. Yeah. Flywheel locker. Yeah, you need a pin to go in the flywheel. We got a bent bit of bonnet rod. I've got 2008 S-Max 2 litre Z-Tech, same engine as the Mark IV. I tried taking off the EGR. Oh, I've seen that. You're going to have to take the whole thing off and fix it or replace it. Get a second-hand one from the breakers yard. Steve, on a Sarah, I had a worn water pump, snapped the cam belt, only bent 2 valves. Took a morning to get the parts and an afternoon to do. Is that Sierra? Ford Sierra. Flip it. I'll tell you what, though, those were the days when you could take a cylinder head off really fast. Like if you were quick, you'd have one off in like less than 20 minutes. Them days have long gone. Cooper S. Hi, Cooper S. Mark V Golf GTI. Are they any good? I should think they are pretty good. Yeah. A lot of people like them. If they're looked after, they're good. I think they do suffer from EGR problems, but what cars don't? But yeah, it's the same old thing. If you find one, if you're looking for one, try and find one with low mileage and with service history at least. Gaza, cloverleaf alloys. That's the that's the ones. I remember them. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Cloverleaf. Yes. Cheers. Lewis Evers. I have a Mark II Focus ST and the gearbox is clunky and now my clutch squeaks when I engage it. Do you think I should get rid or just get the WD-40 out? Well, you can try the WD-40, but it probably ain't going to do you much good. If you don't want to spend no money on it, then I'll get rid of it. If it's on its way out. If it's clunky, it depends what you mean by clunky. You would probably need like a mechanic to actually listen to it and have a look and give you a better idea of whether it's something more serious. Christopher Allen, hi Christopher. Is the 2.2 diesel Puma engine any good? Did they put a 2.2 diesel in a Puma? We haven't had any Pumas. Not at our garage, we haven't. But if it's the 2.2 diesel that goes in the like in the Mark III Mondeos, then that was a good engine. They're good engines until they're abused too much or not looked after properly, and they go wrong. Them engines do throw rods if when they get worn out. Park Nest. Hi everyone from Yorkshire. Hi over there, Park Nest. Ali Mac. Hey Park Nest. Dark Water Blue. I had a End Run 98 Reg Escort SI. Was rotten at 8 years old. Rust as soon as look at them. Yeah. I remember those days. There's lots of cars out there that are flipping you could buy, and they would rust. Austin Montegos was one of them. Flipping heck. they would rust out in like under 3 years. Think yourself lucky. But yeah, it's like the first KAs that came out. They were terrible, absolutely terrible. Subsequently, they've made them out of better materials now. I don't really know of any cars that have rust problems anymore. I think it's become a thing of the past. But yeah, you go back some years, there were plenty of cars that rusted out quick. Fancy seeing you here. Yeah. I'm thinking of making this like every Wednesday. I might change the days from here and there, depends what I'm doing, but it kills the night, and plus it gives me a chance to sort of like interact with everybody a bit better than I have been doing. So I'm making all these videos, and yet I'm not really sort of like communicating too much on the comments. So I think it's just nicer just to speak. Chris Wilkinson, hi Chris. What's the best small automatic I can buy? No idea. Absolutely no idea. I suppose that it's the same old thing. Whatever you're looking for, just set yourself God knows how many hours aside and do all the Googling you can find on it. And if there's enough pluses on it, then it must be good. But if there's too many people slating it, then probably avoid it. Bridport Dorset. Another question with the same car, a Focus Titanium X 2015. I keep having an issue with headlight malfunction on the offside. He has the xenon and steering headlamps. The drive size has a mind of its own. Yeah, you'd have to scan it, see if there's any codes, any fault codes or something like that. We don't have any of them headlights on our cars because we've got all like the lower models. They've just got the basic halogen ones. But yeah, tricky one. I can't really sort of like give an answer on that. You might well have to take that into Ford. Mark Nusita, hi Mark. Is it easy to change the Ford badge on a Mark IV Mondeo front grille? I think that's. Oh God, do you know what? I can't remember now. I'm pretty sure they're stuck on, although some of them had like, if you can imagine, like the badge is stuck on, but there's two pins that go through from the badge through the grille, and there's like little tamper-proof nuts on the back, or like little shake-proof rings that push over the studs. I think it's going to be a case of maybe get one of them hair dryers and just warm it up a little bit, and then just try and slide something in there and just try and apprise it very, very gently. Craven's Demotion. I run a 55 Mark III Mondeo 1.8 petrol, 90,000, perfect condition. AC is super cold. Put really, our water from underneath, always a puddle under mine in the warm weather. Is this really normal on Mark III's? Yeah, well, any sort of like air conditioning on a car. the water builds up in the bottom of the heater unit. They've got like a tray, and then you've got a drain, and the water will drain out of that under the bulkhead, and you'll get big puddles of clear, freezing cold water dripping all onto the ground. If you put your hand in that water, just leave it there running with the AC on till it builds a puddle of water. Put your hand in the water. It'd be cold. Yeah, that's quite normal. If the water was like green, then it might be something to worry about because it'd probably be coolant. But you'll notice it's clear water. Thanks. Park Nest at Cravensby Muffin. My Mark II Mondeo was the same. It is just the condensation dripping off the aircon pipes. Yeah. If you ever notice that when you put your bonnet up and you put your AC on and look at the AC pipes, they all condensate up. Put your hand on it, like on some of these. Well, if you follow the pipes around to where the heat go into the heater unit at the back of the bulkhead, one of the pipes will be freezing cold. We've all condensated up. The pipes near the condenser will be warm, but a lot of the pipes you'll see all the water building up on it, then it'll all be dripping off onto the ground. Gareth White, oil pressure solenoid sensor change on Mark V Mondeo would be great. Really good content. If I'm ever passing, we'll pop in. That's great. Yeah, them oil pressure control solenoids, they are starting to play up now. I'm getting more and more of them. And they do. They're a bit of a funny one, you know, because you can drive the car and it'll be perfectly fine. Then all of a sudden it'll go into limp mode. And it will just come up with oil pressure control solenoid stuck shut or something like that. I done one the other day. There is about £108 for a new solenoid. Put it in. I'll tell you one thing though. Them solenoids, they swell up. They literally swell up through use, because if I take the solenoid, a used solenoid out of an oil filter housing, and I put a new solenoid in, it will slide straight in. But if I get a brand spanking new oil filter and oil cooler unit, because they leak, and bolt it to the engine, brand new unit, and I take the solenoid out of the old one and try and put that old solenoid in the new unit, it'll be really, really tight trying to push it in because the solenoid's swollen. So you can get them in, but it's a little bit of a struggle. But I think I will cover that later on. Michael Pierce. Hi, Michael. Question. I got a Ford Mondeo Mark V in the garage in limp mode. It come up with fuel pressure too high. The injectors have been tested and the pump, all the adaptation has been reset, but no joy. Oh my God. Hang on. My shorts have stuck to my ass. Oh dear. That's all I can say. The last time I had high fuel pressure, which was only once, by the way, on a Mark V Mondeo, it was the ECU. I'll tell you one thing to do. Pull off the injector leak-off pipes from the injectors. Switch the ignition on. Leave the ignition on for 5-6 seconds. In actual fact, just switch the ignition on and leave the ignition on and watch the leak-off pipes. The one I had, what was happening was, once you switch the ignition on, you would count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then all of a sudden, diesel would come out of the leak-off pipes, start running out of the leak-off pipes. It shouldn't do that. That was something that was really odd, and it took ages to work it out. That was high fuel pressure, and that was the ECU. So if yours is doing the same, your chances are you've got an ECU problem. The good news is on their Mark Vs, you can buy a second-hand used ECU off eBay if you get the right part numbers on it. Probably about £80 odd, quite cheap. You can then take that ECU and the car to a Ford garage and they'll reprogram that used ECU to your car. That'll cost you another £80, but it's better than buying a brand new ECU, and that'll probably cure it. So it's not the end of the world if it is the ECU. Barry G, hi Barry, love the vids. I've just done another oil change on my Mark 6 on my 1.6 petrol Toyota Corolla VVTi 2005, and it's marked as Ford oil. Is this a Ford engine? It's blooming reliable. The Toyota and Ford have had a thing going. I changed the bloody engine in a Mazda 6 not so long ago, and that had Ford all over the engine. I think, do you know, I can't remember now. I'm not sure, but I know Ford and Toyota have got a thing going, because it's and Mazda. Well, mind you, there's so many car makers that are sort of like all swapping their bits these days. But there is something going on. I wouldn't have thought on a Toyota though. I'm not sure. I don't know, but it could well be a Ford engine. But I should think, if anything, it's a Mazda engine, because I know it's the Mazda engine that goes in the Ford Mark III Mondeos, the 2-litre HE engines. They're Mazdas, but there's nothing on them engines to say what they are. They kind of hide it well. But no, I'm not 100% sure on that one. Chris Wilkinson, I've got a Mark V, and mine does this when the AC has been running. This is normal. Yep. Stephen King, have a tiny rattle coming from the rear boot area on the white 2-litre TDCi Mark V Titanium X that you did the cam belt on a few months ago. All suspension seems tight. Any ideas? If it's a rattle, I think I said this a while back. There's a bush that goes on the back of if it's one specific side. It could well be the bush on the top of the rear shock absorber, because they kind of wear out, and then it's easier to unbolt the two 18 mils and pull the shock absorber away. Then you can get hold of the bush and the shock, and you can wriggle it. And if it's a little bit loose, then it's that top bush. They kind of corrode up there, and you get this knocking noise, which gradually gets worse. Cravens Demufen, Park Nest, that's reassuring. I never seen so much water under other cars. Oh, bloody hell. There's been some cars that have come in the garage and doing like an MOT on the ramp on a hot day, and they are just flipping. You're trying to inspect underneath the car and dance around all the water that's dripping off it. They leave huge puddles on the floor. Captain Kidd, I've done that one. Hoodie Highland, I had a beautiful 2006 Mondeo gear TDCi. My clutch went, and not one local garage would take the job on. Had to scrap it. I don't know why. I mean, they're a straightforward job. I mean, all it is the subframe off and then gearbox out. It's bloody hell. We used to do them all the time. We still do them. I mean, the Mark V Mondeo, it's the same thing. It's just a few differences on unbolting things, but it's practically the same job. The crazy life of Super Sport. That's brilliant news, as I rebuilt the TDCi engine and put a new piston. Checked everything from the top to bottom, and it runs like a dream. Only 125k. It's a Transit Connect. Yeah. All right. Well, it's good. It's working then. I don't know. I've never come across a broken piston. Not on one of them engines. I guess it does happen. Laurent Jacob. Hi. I am planning to replace my 04 Accord 2-litre petrol car. Reason: suspension too stiff, noisy on highway, used on highway 7%. Do you think a Mark IV Mondeo is a reasonable choice? It is a reasonable choice. Depends how much you're going to pay for it. And it's the same old thing. When you're looking for a used car, it's finding a good one, because there's a lot of lemons out there. There's a lot of cars that haven't been looked after. They've been abused. So it's finding one with proper service. They are out there. You've just got to find a good one. Usually with proper service history, and you can see what's been done to it over the years. If you find a good one and it's at the right price, then yeah, they're a good car. Hi, Steve. Mark V key fob lock-in reaction is set using the fog light switches. Confused me when things change one day. Yeah, this is the trouble. You've got to take the time to work out how to set all these things up. It's kind of like reading the handbook or scanning the internet. Pete Girandini. Hi, Pete. Thank you for the time belt instructions for Mondeo Mark IV 2-litre TDCi. It saved me a bunch. Yeah, they're not bad to do. I thought I'd do that. That's bloody hell. That's an old video now. But yeah, that's great. Barry G. I watched your video on replacing a broken fob and used the bloke you recommended on eBay. It was brilliant. Had the circuit board replaced and new rubbers on the buttons. Bargain. Them key fobs, generally speaking, they're okay. I do know on the Mark V's, when we get the actual shank bit of the key snapped off, they're not quite right, if you know what I mean. You have to sometimes where the shank goes in, the key shank goes into the new fob, we have to sort of like file it a little bit just to make them that little bit better of a fit. That's half the trouble with these cheap parts. Sometimes they either fit or they don't fit, and you just got to do a very slight bit of modification to get them right. But that's what you get for cheapness. I've been using Forescan now for a few years, handy bit of kit, but I sold my Mondeo TDCi and bought an A4 Avant Sport B6. So don't use as much. Oh, that's a nice car. A4 Avant. Nice. Jay Schofield. Hi, Jay. Any advice for a sparky rear suspension on 2016 Mark IV Galaxy? Not the anti-roll bar bushes. I followed your video already. A sparky rear suspension. I don't know what you mean by that. You'll have to give me a bit more information on that one. Cressima House, how are you? Do you think it is necessary to change oil at 15,000 kilometers, though it's intervals of 30,000? People here in Ford Creation Group always argue about it. Mondeo Mark V. I think you're probably best doing it at 15,000. Do it at half the interval Ford state. I mean, it's supposed to be long life oil and it's not cheap oil. But if it's your own car and you want to look after the engine as best you can, then I would do it at 15,000 myself. These long life oil intervals, I don't trust them. No, I would definitely do it at the lower mileage. The only reason we change the oil at 15,000 on our taxis, or 15,000 miles on our taxis, is a simple reason: there's 100 taxis out there. So it's like the oil is very expensive to keep 100 cars going. That's why we do it at the Ford state. Have you ever had a vid on the diff between dual mass and solid flywheel? And what if you put a single mass one in focus. Don't do it. No, do not do it. Just stick another dual mass flywheel in there. I did mention this in one of our videos a while back. Guy come in with a Mark III 2-litre diesel Duratorque. He bought a solid flywheel conversion. We put it in, and a couple of weeks later he brought it back and said, "Can you just put a dual mass back in it?" The car was just too harsh. It was too vibrating and too harsh. He couldn't live with it. So no, I would just stick another dual mass in it. Hi Jay, any advice for a squeaky rear suspension on 2016 Galaxy? Squeaky rear suspension. Well, I hope it's nothing like the Mark V Mondeos, where it's that back suspension arm. There's the bush that squeaks, and it's really, really loud. I haven't had any Ford Galaxies, and I believe they're a different suspension to the Mark V Mondeo, so I don't know. But if you're around my way, you can always pop in and I'll have a look at it. Generally speaking, it's going to be a bush of some sort. So if it's not the anti-roll bar D bushes, chances are it could well be one of the suspension arms, one of them bushes. But you'd have to sort of like have someone bouncing it while you're trying to go underneath and try and pinpoint it. Steve, thanks for the thumbs. And Mondeo Paul. Hi Mondeo Paul. Mocco 2802. Alan, are there any Mondeos ex-fleet for sale at the moment? I don't think there are. I'm not sure. See, when we get rid of like all these taxis, it's like a whole bunch at the same time. But at the moment, they're all going back on the road as taxis. There's nothing that I know of at the minute. I'll have to see the boss on that one. If he's got anything going, I'll try and get back to you on that one. What's up? What's up? What's up? AEK learning. No, everything's great. There's nothing up. I'm getting a sore throat. That's got. I need a beer. I remember some years ago loading a section of tree trunk into a jet boot. It was not round and rolled over so that it was too wide to lift back out. Nigel Brooks. Hi Nigel. Binono, one superhero. I agree with the thumbs down. It's mental, man. Loves the channel. Joseph Doyle, thoughts on EcoBoost engines. Not really had enough to do with them to give like a detailed analysis, really. I haven't heard much good about the early ones. I know they were blowing up. Something to do with they were losing coolant. But I think they've put that right now. If I ever sort of like get to the point where I actually sort of like get some proper information on them, then I can give it out. But I haven't really had much at all, so I'll jury's out with a minute. Barry G. I had a brand new Fiesta 1.6 diesel in 1986. And the discs kept warping from new. Eventually, after 3 sets, they changed the calipers, and that fixed it. Bloody hell! I had a disc on a Sierra that kept getting warped. That turned out to be the alley wheel was warped. They kept warping the disc. Anthony Love, hi Anthony. Looking at buying a Mondeo Mark IV 2010 to 2014, what's your opinion of the 1.6 TDCi, or is it a better to go for the 2 litre? Just go for the 2 litre. The 1.6 to be underpowered. That's the problem. And I don't think it's as nice an engine. The 2 litre, if you can get the 4.5 Mondeo, the facelift one, between 2012 and 2014, that'll be the one to get. You get one of them with low mileage, they're bloody lovely engine. Yen Subby, hi. Just dropped in for some live chat and listening to your wise words. There's nothing wise about me. But thanks anyway. I'm just here for the ride. No, I'm here to kill a Wednesday evening when I've got nothing else to do. You see, I don't watch TV no more. Third ends, how easy is it to change the timing belt on a 2008 titanium TDCi? I think they're pretty straightforward. They're not difficult at all. As long as you've got like a bolt, you can pin the camshaft sprocket, and you do need the pin to fit in the crankshaft. You do need that. Hello, what's going on with this? I think the computer's lagging. Hi Ben, how are you? Yes, I'm still live. I'm still here. I'm still here at the minute. But what's the time? Oh my God, it's gone 10 o'clock at night. I might be calling it a day now, very shortly. But glad to hear from you, Ben. I do see all your comments. I try to respond, a week or two down the road when I when I get around to it. But this is getting laggy now. It's like I'm now clicking on people's to show the comment, and it's not working. It's getting. I think my computer's going to take a dump in a minute. All right, Tyler.
Yes.
Yeah, you got past about being seen.
I was seen.
Yeah, but you had no head. Your head was above the camera.
Yeah, but I was trying to hide the
Okay.
It was.
Captain, so long as the brake fluid is a sealed unit and no leaks, you wouldn't need to do this regularly. No, you wouldn't. You're right.
Oh, yeah, so stuff like freestyle cameras.
Right, there's something. This is getting a bit. Wayne, hi Wayne, how are you? Your videos are very good quality. And what cameras do you use? Is photography your hobby? Oh yes. You see, the thing is, I never used to have a camera, so it was about, my God, it was about 2010 when I got my first camera, believe it or not. And I thought all them years that I missed when I was younger, I never had a camera. And luckily, my sister was the only person who kind of kept photos of us when we were young. So I got this piece of shit camera from Tesco's, and it really was crap. But after that, I kind of got into when I got my first computer, which was in 2010 as well. That was a little Windows HP Pavilion. I loved that computer. It was cheap when electricals were really cheap. I went up Powerhouse and got that. But subsequently, I bought a Canon SX40 HS, which I still have to this day. I will never get rid of that camera because it has got the most convenient. How can I put it? Not autofocus. Exposure setting on it. You press one button and it will set the exposure, and it's just brilliant. I love it. So I always keep that camera. What I use at the minute, I have a Canon 80D, which I use for anything in the garage because it's got the digital zoom on it. And with my Sigma 18 to 35 lens, I can use digital zoom and zoom in, because that 18 to 35 focus length is pretty short. You can't get close enough. But with the digital zoom on that 80D, it gets me in close enough to do what I need to do. So I find that a good combo. And I have a 90D, which I bought it a year ago and I've hardly used it. But I use that because it's got the 120 frames a second. So I use that for the slow-mo. And I use the 10 to 18 Canon lens, that cheap lens, for just like vlog talking. But I also have the Canon 85mm 1.8 lens, and I've just got the Canon, the old one, the 1.4 50mm lens, which I use for photos, because I do like photography. That's what it is all about to start with. It's like I have a green screen. I've got proper studio lights. I've got a lot of gear, believe it or not, for photography. I do like taking pictures, even with most of the time it's just with my iPhone. Wherever I go, I take selfies everywhere. So yeah, everyone's come down for a photo shoot, no problem. We can sort that. Steve, brake fluid gets replaced every time you bleed the brakes. Yes. Trouble is, we don't bleed the brakes that often, not on the Mark 5s. Mark Hill, hi Mark. I have a Focus 1 litre EcoBoost. It has a button on which changes the engine from Eco, Normal and Sport. The sports mode is good. Have you? No, I've never driven one. Never driven one. But if I do get the opportunity, if the Ford rep ever comes round and gives me a go in his car, I'll have a try. Yeah, like you replace engine oil when you top up leaking oil. Yeah, we did have engines in the past and we never had to replace the oil. We just top them up every Monday morning after a weekend. Hi Ben, what's the highest mileage you've ever had in a taxi? I'm not 100% sure. I think it was just a little bit under 400,000. I don't think I've had one over 400,000. Although I'm probably wrong there. There was some, it's such a long time ago now, there was some Sierras we used to have. And I'm sure they'd done 500,000 miles. I just cannot remember now. But it's going back too far. At Ferdin's, just use a drill bit to lock the cam, and you don't really need to lock the flywheel. Just mark it and make sure the lines are correct. Yeah, I mean, as long as everything lines back up again, that's right. 087 male 170 watching. Right. Ford oil. I've lost my flipping heck. I must be absolutely miles behind the comments. Benjamin Rees, they were always a quick car. Scott Tollins, you have clearly never seen the M57 3 litre. No, no, we haven't. We've only had the old diesels. Ruskatil, you must work a lot of diesel cars. Yeah. All we really have is the 2 litre diesels, and we've got a lot of Mark 3s with the 2 litre and 1.8 Duratec petrol engines. My brakes clunk when I reverse the stop. That could it be? They shouldn't clunk. I would say there's something wrong there. You'd probably need to get that checked out. I've got an S-Max 2008 2 litre TDCi. Is a remap beneficial? Worth the money? It would probably, you would probably notice the difference. You would definitely notice the difference. But it's one of them things that depends how far you want to go with it, because there's other things you can do to it apart from just having a remap. Google a manufactured illusion. Dr. David Martin are the scam, totally exposing it all. A manufactured illusion. Yeah. The trouble is you don't know what's right, what's what's true and what's false these days about looking into it and going down the rabbit hole. Timestamp. Timestamp. My Mark V Mondeo 67 play, 80k. Linkage on top of gearbox, up and down play. It might be normal. You'd have to get that looked at. Lol. Adam, hi Adam. Clean to replace the map sensor. Hi Alan. Saviola 190. Big fan. I have a 2017 Mark V Mondeo 1.5 diesel. I have 107 miles. 100. Yeah. I haven't had much to do with the 1.5, but I haven't heard. The few we have had head gasket problems, but I guess if yours is okay, then that's good. Yeah, all the Mark V's we've got are 2 litres. I can't really comment too much on the 1.5s. Scott, what models of the Mondeo doesn't have the power shift? Oh, blimey. I'm not too sure. I know what does have them. It's the 2 litre PSA engine has them. I should think the petrol models probably don't have them. Yeah, I'd have to Google that one. What is the topic of your channel? It's just Mondeos, basically. Mondeo cars. It's just talking about Ford Mondeos, Mark IV and Mark V. Anything really related to them. That's I'm trying to get through. I'm not going to be able to get through these comments. There's just too many of them. Did you have a problem with the bolts for the wheel? Varies in thickness and the original wrench cannot be used. Don't know. JP, I will try with a better torch then and hope I'm just blind. Really got to get the timing belt done on it. I suddenly realised it's done nearly 120 on the same timing belt. Yeah. I think most of them are 125,000 and they need changing. You've been excommunicated. We are over 2 hours in now, so I might be calling time on this and that. Stephen Allen snapped while driving the vehicle, just got off the motorway, thankfully. Right, I'm going to call time, guys.
Thank you, Dad.
I've had enough tonight. My brain is dead. I may do one of these at the weekend if I get bored. But if I haven't answered any of your comments, then I'll try and catch you later in the next one. Or if you leave your comments on one of the videos, if I do get around to them eventually, I do get around to most of them. It's just sort of like not straight away. But anyway, thank you guys for all joining the live stream tonight. It's been a pleasure. That's my night over. Another day of work tomorrow. But thank you all for joining anyway, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you very much.